healthy and real, being authentic in the conversation to having the user, answering their actual questions. And so maybe not always giving them a canned response, but taking the time to get to know everybody individually. Obviously, that comes at a cost because you need people in the company. The more customers you have, some people, you're doing 2,000 orders a month, 4,000 orders a month. It's going to be really tough to keep up with all that. But Lucas is here to tell you there is a way to have conversations with people at scale and make it work. Lucas, are you here?
Yes, I am. I'm going to turn on my video. I might turn it off when I share my screen. Just my Wi-Fi, it's been a little iffy today, so I'll save that bandwidth. But thank you, everyone, for joining. Rocking a fresh hat today. I actually got it at Shopify Pursuit in Amsterdam last week.
Nice.
And tell by the voice, I'm a little congested as well. So excuse me if I turn the mic off to cough or clear my throat a little bit.
You're fine. Don't worry about it.
Perfect. And thank you so much for that intro, Derek. Really, like you mentioned, calling us, I mean, as you know, calling us just a purely help desk almost really does do us a bit of a disservice, because every time you interact with a customer is an opportunity to generate revenue, whether it's before or after an item is being sold, which is why I'm really, really excited to do this presentation today, which is all about our theme for 2019, which is conversational commerce. So really using those one-to-one interactions to get more value add activities from your customers, rather than just letting the and you hit close on that. So I'm going to stop my video and share my screen now. Let me know when you can see it.
Screen looks good.
It's full screen. Perfect.
And yet,
there we are. Gorgias, the #1 help desk for e-commerce. And I know we're a little bit behind here, Derek. So what time would you like me to make sure I wrap up?
Don't worry about it. I'll ping you here if we're going over, but you'll be fine.
All right, perfect. I only ask because I only have the one screen up. So what is conversational commerce? I think it's a phrase that gets thrown around a lot, but this was the definition that we've settled on that I really like. And it's all about helping e-commerce merchants increase their conversion rate in sales through one-to-one real-time interaction. So the key here is really that one-to-one real-time interaction piece. If you send out an mass email or text message, maybe you're a smaller brand and you've got 500 people on your list. Maybe you're a huge brand with segments that are tens of thousands of people each. That's all very much one-to-many. But what happened when people respond to that? I think we saw in the 90s and early 2000s, a lot of times that default reply was, don't reply at store.com. But then we started to realize that maybe we should be welcoming replies. It's people who want to buy our products, so maybe we should start engaging with them a little bit, which is really where conversational commerce comes into play. So I always like to lead with an exciting stat to get people interested and really rope in the attention, but we saw up to a 28% conversion rate for pre-sale chats replied to in less than 10 minutes. Now, this does come with a bit of a caveat. It's not a silver bullet to just magically increase all of your conversion rates. We definitely have a lot of principles, which I hope you'll swipe from us here today and roll it in your store and for your brand. Now, the caveat here is that you do need to have good customer service to be able to, again, you can't just keep asking people to buy if you're not answering their service-based questions. So let's take a look here at one store. This is actual data, and we did a pilot with them leading through the holidays. So if you look at the date here, it's between Black Friday, which was very late this year, and Christmas. You can actually see that it's December 2nd. So we did a pilot for about 500 tickets to see how many we could convert. And as you can see by looking at it, we had a 46.5% conversion rate and generated $22,000 from support. So an area that's traditionally saved for that's traditionally more saved for generally a cost center on the line item, is really designed to now start generating revenue. You can also see that the first response time was down to just over 2 minutes, and the resolution time, so total interaction time, was just over 20 minutes. So on the traditional side of the customer service stats, both of those are really, really good. We do use some automations, which I'll show you in the future slides, to help get that down and to free up more of your time to be able to spend those during revenue generating conversations. So Derek, I know that you had mentioned in the previous talk a little bit about AI. Could you maybe say a few words on artificial intelligence just while I grab some water, maybe a lozenge here?
I want to talk to this specifically. Oh my God. So, well, the first thing everyone needs to know, and you kind of hinted at it, is that this conversion rate is already naturally kind of biased because it only includes the people that are willing to live chat. So kind of by the very nature, by willing to live chat, you are more likely to convert. So don't get crazy ideas of thinking that, you know, this is the whole site conversion rate, but then it leads you to believe like, okay, how do I increase the number of people that chat with me? Because obviously it's working, and it really does. And then the other thing I like here is the 21-minute resolution time. If you're on an e-commerce site and you're browsing to purchase, right, you have questions, they need to be answered now. If you just send an email to somebody and then it's followed up within 24 hours, all of that on-site browsing, you know, that I was looking at the products, I had it in mind, I was really thinking about buying, all that urgency that I've created within myself as a consumer or a shopper, that has disappeared. And maybe I've just moved on at this point. I realize I don't have the budget, or I make an excuse for myself. So I think that fast resolution time is just so crucial.
Yeah, and I mean, to take an offline example, and so one of the caveats of this is that it does tend to work better with premium items. If you're just buying a pair of socks, you're going to wear a couple times, you don't care as much. If you're buying a piece of, say, luggage where you want it to last you a decade, you're researching the product a lot more beforehand. Now, imagine you walk into a department store to buy some luggage, and you ask somebody, hey, what's the warranty on this piece of luggage? Can I return it if I'm unhappy or the zipper's covered? And they said, oh, let me get your email and I'll follow up with you sometime in the next day or two.
Love this.
You wouldn't be buying that piece of luggage there. You'd probably go somewhere else where they can help you out. So why do we expect so many premium e-commerce websites to act like a vending machine where people just come in, put their money in, and then leave? And once we're starting to really see that shift of having those pre-sales conversations, especially on the website, that's where you start to see a lot of these results. So let's dig into a little bit more about how this happens. So first caveat is you have to have good support infrastructure in play. You can't just open up chat because people will be asking questions about products that they've already purchased. So make sure that you are taking care of them. Now, we're talking a little bit about AI before, and that's really one way that Gorgias helps merchants out, is by using AI to do a lot of the low-hanging fruit questions. So the where's my order? Can I get a tracking update? What's your return policy? We free up your agent's time so that instead of spending it on things like that, you can help them make those purchases. So that's the first caveat, is that you have to have your support infrastructure set up already. This is more of a 201 or a 301 type of strategy with dealing with one-to-one communications. And the second caveat is start close to cash. So one of the biggest things that we hear is that I don't want to put a chat on my website. We don't have the resources or the bandwidth. Our agents are already drowning. So first, make sure that your agents have the tools that they need and to deal with a lot of their questions or their comments quickly, and then focus close to cash and work back to find out where the holes in that bucket are. So if people are reaching checkout but not converting, then put a chat on the cart page, or on the cart page, or on the product display page, wherever the leaks in that bucket are. If they're worried about getting it shipped in time, so in this case it's getting close to Christmas, if people are coming internationally, let them know that, hey, all orders that ship before a certain date or all orders before a certain date will be shipped for Christmas. So a couple of takeaways that I just want to give everyone to increase their conversion rate. One is that you have to have the support systems and infrastructure in place already. And then if you are worried about bandwidth, focus as close to cache as you can and work backwards from there. Now, the next question on this is, well, how do I get started? How do I not just have a generic chatbot and generic messaging? And just like you have your brand tone of influence and expression in your ad copy, in your welcome email flow, you want to put that into your chat as well. So how do customers describe you? How do you describe your brand? What's your company's mission? Do you have a target demographic? What's your product category? All this will influence how you're able to use conversational commerce. In terms of expression, how do you greet people? Do you use emojis? Do you start every conversation with the emoji? Or do you get really edgy if you're a brand? Maybe you have it as a quick reply that your product is a poop emoji. So you want to be consistent with how you portray your brand there. And finally, really, who is your demographic? If they're a little bit older, maybe they still don't trust e-commerce or online shopping as much, you might want to have a little bit more of a formal tone. If they're millennials or Generation Z, whatever we're calling the TikTok kids these days, maybe you're a little bit more casual that way as well. And same thing goes for even punctuation and signature. Do you respond with an agent's name at the end? Do you just do initials? How do you differentiate that? So Shopify actually has a great example of voice and tone. And so this is taken right from there. Derek, I can paste a link here if you want it, but if anyone just Google Shopify brand voice, this will come up. And so here are some highlights here that we you can swipe for voice. So first off, Shopify's voice is a reflection of who we are. We should always look and sound like Shopify. Our tone adapts appropriately to the context and situation. The best way to decide what tone to use is to ask yourself what merchants are likely feeling when they encounter your message so you can decide how to respond. Now, I think that last sentence is really important. What are they doing? What page are they on? If they're on a returns page and it's the night before Christmas and their kids aren't going to get their gifts that they received, the tone that you should use is totally different than asking your friend, asking for referrals because you know that they've been a happy, long-standing customer. So just a couple things there to keep in mind. And also the fine lines between things like confidence and arrogance, empathy and overprotective. And my favorite, transparent and not blunt, or as I like to call it, transparent and being full Larry David. So where do these channels take place? We're talking a little bit about on-site chat, but really conversational commerce does take place on all the channels that you interact with your customers. Now, this could be Facebook Messenger if you have somebody chatting in, typing to your brand there. With the rise of SMS and text message marketing, Derek, I saw the Privy logo behind your head. They just launched text marketing this week. Shout out to Privy, $10. I think it starts at $10. So if you want to get started, great way to do it there. Oh, Kurt's here. Hey, Kurt. Yeah. Phone as well. A lot of brands will have the option to phone in and then by email as well. So these are all the different channels where you can engage with conversational commerce. Now, we're getting into a little bit of the product demo of Gorgias. Here we have a macro, and you can see that we're pulling in some key details from Shopify, including the shipping notification. Now, I mentioned at the start of the webinar, a lot of this can be automated. So in this case, pulling in these macros from Shopify, these data points, so the shipping location, but we also have an ask here. Not all conversational commerce actions need to necessarily be sales driven. In this case, we're reminding them that they have 230 points in their loyalty account to influence that next purchase. Maybe we're also asking for a referral or for them to join our referral program, or even asking for a review. And I think reviews are one of the most interesting topics because how people use reviews and how they think they use reviews is one of the biggest discrepancies that there is. User handling objections or really busting those objections. So people say, oh, I'm not sure if the color will last. If you have a review that says, I left it out all summer long and it was UV protected, then it's a great way to bust that objection by featuring that in the product display page or even on your ads. Now with Gorgias, we do keep track of everything, so you can actually export and start to massage that data to find out some of your frequently asked questions, and then use that to ask for a review. So if somebody chatted in saying, mentioning that they were worried about the UV coating, you can set a reminder to follow up and then ask them for that review to help handle that objection. Facebook and Instagram ads as well. This has been a feature that's gotten a lot of traction with us lately, and it's actually responding to Facebook Messenger as well as the ad comments. Experimented with ManyChat. I know we were both at the ManyChat conference, or any other messenger bots as growth tools. Oh, Derek, are you still online there?
I'm here. You were breaking up there for just a second.
Oh, sorry about that. I was just asking if you've used ManyChat or any of the other chatbot tools really as a growth tool.
Yeah, absolutely. I've done it in multiple different cases for actually multiple different brands. And OmniSend was on here talking about how to use Messenger for kind of like order confirmation follow-ups and retention. I think that Messenger as a channel is really powerful. In this exact case, what I really like is there's going to be comments, and you might have this image because I know Gorgias loves this. There's going to be comments, and then there's kind of an opportunity to follow up with people first in a comment thread on an ad that you're running. But also you can send them a message. So I believe OmniSend does this, and other messenger tools will allow you to send the user a message, and you can do it based on certain rules, but usually you want to do it in a manual way so that you're sure that they want it. And you send the message like, hey, thanks so much for saying that you really love this product. Here's your own 10% discount. And when you send them a message and they respond in Messenger, you have the opportunity, that is a form of personally identifiable information, their Messenger ID. You have the opportunity to kind of continue to follow up with them, have a one-to-one conversation as you were showing with those pre-sale chat messages, and then convert them to a customer. And it's very authentic. It's very helpful. It requires some real people, some real horsepower, but and a little bit of creativity and ingenuity, but it works so well.
Absolutely, and really is a way to bridge that gap between automation and human driven. You can add in the buttons and the responses within Messenger for those common things of, yes, I want a discount code, like we see here, shop 10% off. But if people then start asking questions and typing in, you know, the Facebook Messenger inbox just gets very crowded very, very quickly. We can actually filter out the differences between those machine generated or automatically generated responses like this one here, do that 10% off, and people actually typing, hey, my discount code isn't working, can you help me out? Especially if you do have the Facebook Messenger often on the website as well. The next area of conversational commerce, and we were talking a little bit about this, is the comments. If you open up your phone right now and just go into Instagram and click on the first ad that you see with a few comments, more often than not, you'll see buying intent comments. You see just really neutral comments, people tagging their friends. And then you also see negative comments, whether it's trolls or unsatisfied customers. But most brands just are not managing the comments on both our organic posts, but more their paid advertising as well. So they're paying all this money to get these posts in front of people, and then either they're not responding to people showing purchase intent, going back to the slide earlier, focusing on customers close to cash, but also they're not doing anything with the negative comments. So one of my favorite examples is here in Toronto, the Babcock. So the former head coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs, Mike Babcock, runs the Sox. So if you guys started a sock company, donating a good chunk of the proceeds to mental health. But they were really successful and were way oversold versus what they had on inventory. So instead of responding to the comments of, hey, I ordered 3 weeks ago, I still haven't received them, these guys are a scam, they just ignored them. But if they were on to a couple of those, so much for all your support, we've raised so much money for mental health, because we've been so overwhelmed, we've been able to get our cost of goods sold down with our suppliers, and now we are actually able to donate even more and then hide the rest of the negative comments. They could have actually really used that negative item, which was running out of inventory, to turn it into something positive, which is another reason to support the cause and make a sale. You also have people saying, just like Jessica is here, oh my God, we need this. Hey, Megan, I agree, you need this. Use the code PL10 for 10% off, anything store-wide. Happy shopping. And what we find is that 4-character code that's easy to remember, maybe it's the initials, maybe it's your store initials, maybe it's the date. We find that this really does increase the conversion rate. We think that people are just memorizing it rather than cutting and pasting it. So keeping it to 4 characters does help the utilization rate. Really looking at the comments on your ads is so underutilized right now. SMS and text messaging as well. So one of my favorite examples of a brand doing this is Beard Brand, where they opt into text message updates at checkout, and they say, send us a selfie and we'll give you customized styling advice. So you're deepening your relationship with your customers in what's still a very intimate way. You're providing value with them, which is a bit of a caveat of text message marketing, is that it's still very new and nuanced and has great success rates, but it's also very easy to be abused. So something important is to ask yourself the question of, well, why am I sending this to the customer? What's in it for them? And I think that Beard Brand's use of style advice is probably the best use case that I've seen of really one-to-one relationship with text message based interactions. And the cool thing here is you can say, oh, we have this product, we just launched it, it's great for your style, it's great for what you need, here you go. And it could be the same thing of, hey, if you're selling posters or something, hey, send us a picture of your living room and we'll give you what size print you should buy. So again, it is going into that sort of pre-sales service to help help people choose the right product, both in terms of profitability for the brand, but also in terms of reducing overhead costs and returns because they bought the wrong product. And of course, on-site chat. So I love this example because it's a cute little dog riding a bike, but also because bikes are they're just such a weird product. As a cyclist myself, I spend a lot of money on my bicycle. I probably spent more on my bicycle than my motorcycle, actually. But the $300 saddle or the $3,000 saddle that people buy might be they might have different questions. So really timing that chat, depending where they are in the customer journeys, their first time coming to the website, are they on the blog or the home page? Are they on the product page? Are they on a collections page or a cart page? And really you can ask them how they got here today, how they heard about you, so you can tailor your marketing in a very conversational way. Time-based offers are great as well. So if they're on that cart page, encouraging them to finish checking out in the next little while so that they do get that free shipping. And then finally, one of our partners, Shopping Gives, we teamed up with Cobelli in November because they were raising money for a number of causes related to breast cancer. So in this case, it was popping up and notifying them on a specific collection that a certain percentage of each sale was going directly to breast cancer, and that they can choose the charity that they want if they have one that's specific for them, or if they wanted to avoid a specific charity. Something really cool to getting strategy of on-site is action busting statements. So I love these, really using reviews. It could be something as simple as, hey, don't worry, you got 100 days to decide if you love it. We offer free returns and exchanges. What's the main purpose of this purchase? So in the case of the bicycle seat, it could be something like, hey, these seats are perfect for commuters looking for something a little bit more sporty or competitive. Let us know and we'll help you get the right one for you. Obviously highlighting reviews as well. If you have a specific review that really resonates, you can highlight there. Product specific discounts, and of course the charitable causes that I mentioned on the last slide. And heading over to the checkout, really reinforcing the trust for their purchase. So, hey, great bike choice, making sure that they found everything that they were looking for. You never want a customer to leave your store unhappy because they weren't able to make a purchase, experience, you're also leaving money on the table. Really ask them an upsell closure question. So did they find everything? Make sure that they're ready to go. And then finally, if they're hovering on the page for what feels like a little bit too long, offer them free shipping, or offer them something to bring them to that checkout and complete the purchase. So what does it look like? Well, again, you can measure the conversion percentage of chat. You can use discounts on social. You can really check out the conversions per agent, as well as things like the first time response and the conversion rate per channel. So you will want this to be a part of a larger strategy in defining what KPIs you're looking at. So maybe it is the conversion rate, maybe it's total revenue, maybe it's just being able to respond to every visitor in your store, depending on what it is that you're looking to really measure. So we do have a little bit of a workshop activity that goes along with this. Derek, I can send this info to you for anyone who wants to get started, along with my contact info as well. But that wraps it up from my end, unless there's any questions.
I love it. Awesome. Yeah, let's talk. How do we get Gorgias? How do we get it installed on our site? What do we need to do?
Yeah, absolutely. You can just visit gorgias.com. We do have the .com now, not just the .io. Mention that you saw me on this webinar and you'll get a free month of service. So you get credit for a month, regardless of what plan you're on. You can also reach out directly to me, lucas@gorgias.com. I'm in a lot of the Facebook groups. I'm on Twitter @WalkerLucas. You can find me just about anywhere. But get in touch if you have any questions. Even if you're just curious about ways to get more out of your current help desk, more than happy to help out and just show you a few different things to help you keep up with the market and always rising and changing customer expectations.
I love it so much. And I think this is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to conversational commerce. There is hours we could spend diving deep into strategy, reviewing individual brand strategies. And in fact, I'm sure what we're about to do right now with Kurt Elster, we'll be looking at seeing if anybody has live chat on their site and if people are actually responding. So this is a perfect segue into our next talk.
Absolutely. If I'm going to stick around, I might drop a couple sites in there just for Kurt to have a little bit of fun with.
yeah. Give us some trouble sites. We're happy to review. We've got a few that I have randomly selected from the audience. So you might be getting a review of Kurt. If you'd like your website reviewed, right now would be the time to drop your website name into the chat here, and we'll put you up on screen. Lucas, thanks again so much. I'm going to go ahead and bump you off and promote Kurt to a panelist. I'm sure we'll be in touch soon.